how big was the village?
This is like my entire like little clan, but they're like there are different like little groups of housings. This is like my group of housing.
Yeah.
And then if you
how do you define the group? You are assigned to certain group by what is the structure of how you get to this point?
Oh, there was no structure. I literally
You just went there.
Yeah. My only connection to them was that I had a friend, it's a side story, but I had a friend who I knew in high school, his dad, they went there, they traveled there, and then they paid to bring 2 kids back to educate them, and now they're becoming doctors.
How old were they when they came back?
No, so I think they were like 17, 18.
Oh,
they came back for college. They went to school there.
Oh, they
came
speak
back for
English.
college. They speak English.
Right.
And they're studying at CU Boulder to become doctors.
Yeah.
And then they plan on going back.
Right.
They plan on going back to Africa to basically open up a hospital when they graduate.
Right.
But I knew them and I knew him, and I was going to Africa anyway for a safari with my family.
Yeah.
And this was at my graduation party. We were leaving in like 2 weeks, and I knew I wanted to stay there with a group of people like that.
Right.
I was having trouble finding some, and I literally talked to this guy at my at this like event. And he said, "Oh yeah, like I know these 2. Like you can go get dinner with them." I went to get dinner with them, and
that was in Kenya.
This was in Denver. This was in Colorado.
Oh, still is in.
And I talked to them for like 2 hours, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you can go live with our family." And they called their dad. They're like, "Hey, like we have a friend who's gonna come live with us," and they're like, "Yeah,
no problem."
On.
Wow.
No, they literally and when I got there, they took off all their most expensive clothing. They took off all their like most expensive, whatever they had that was most valuable, and they gave it to me.
Wow. So that they can dress up like that.
Yeah, which is very backwards, right? Because if a newcomer came here, we wouldn't give them any of our most valuables. We would give them like our cheapest stuff. We'd be like, "Oh, here you go." But there, whatever they had was mine, and whatever I had was theirs.
So you had a big surprise.
They offered, they slaughtered a goat for me.
Oh wow!
And then they offered me, after I was there for a few months, they offered me to have a house and a wife. I'm not even kidding.
With wife.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for me that didn't really make sense. I was like 18, so I was like,
wait a minute.
No, our society doesn't work that way. I think my mom
this group is fairly at the wealthy level of the group, or they're very primitive state of the living?
They're extremely poor. I would say their entire fortune lies within $3,000 to $5,000.
Right.
And it's all invested in. No, they don't make it per month. It's literally like they survive off of goats.
Right.
And a little bit of money they make off of like goat milk.
Right.
And some things they grow. They have small plots of land.
Tell me more about the setting of how they live, and they move around or they stay one spot. And
they used to be. So the Maasai people were at one point in time. They were like, I believe I could be wrong, but part of like what the Maasai, who they were, their very meaning of the word is to be a wanderer.
Right.
So what they did is they followed the water around Africa, and they lived like that for thousands of years.
The season goes up and down, rain this way and that way.
Rain this way. They just follow the water. Right. Yeah. Because the pack animals follow the water, so they follow the water, and they just ate meat, and that's how they lived, meat and milk, for like thousands of years. But recently, obviously, because of the way politics have evolved in Africa, that they've become stuck and confined.
Yeah.
But Tanzania and Kenya. I was living in Tanzania.
Yeah.
And in Tanzania, they don't even let them hunt anymore.
Right.
So it's very rare that we even get to eat meat. It was more like once a week.
Wow.
Or once every 2 weeks. And so their diet has really deteriorated. So it's because they don't know how to live like that. That's not the way their ancestors lived.
Yeah.
So their health starts to deteriorate. A lot of their teeth are all messed up because their water supply is governed by the government, and the government doesn't keep it clean. The government also forces them to move all the time.
Right. Just like in Australia, the Aboriginal people.
Is that how that is in Australia too?
They have money. They buy they can buy the Mercedes or something, but after drinking and driving, the gas run out and cars thrown away, and they don't know how to live because they used to move around, and there's a water hole there, and they can move around without any inventory of food.
Yeah.
Without carrying anything, but it's all gone.
Mm-hmm.
So they got some compensation, but it doesn't work. So that was I didn't go through that myself to check, but that's the story. That there's lots of movies, and I feel, but that's the point of this earth level, heart level, primitive level, being one with the nature as well. And that's our.
That's the problem, is because they can't protect themselves. There was actually, because nowadays, like, if you're living that way of life, those people, like, society ends up corrupting it so many different ways. Like, I think maybe 40 years ago, the people I was living with had already been affected by missionaries who came to and preached.
Right.
And I'm sorry to say, it's not like a. Well, I would actually go as far as to say it's a negative influence that they had. Although they were able to start a school and everything.
But the negative, but they meant to be missionaries, meant to be positive for them to learn something about the God or the procedure.
Yeah, because the missionaries go there and they think, we know the truth and we better teach them, we better enlighten them. When in reality they're more enlightened than they are, because they are living a natural way of life, in alignment with nature, in alignment with their true nature.
So let's stop on that one.
I'm sorry, that's offensive.
What is offensive?
Me saying that about missionaries?
No, that's fine. That's not the point. That I wanted to stop is that you felt they're more enlightened, right?
Yeah.
And how did you detect that? It's kind of obvious, or what?
It's obvious just because of the way they go about life is so happy and joyful, and they're generous. They don't have much, and yet they're more happy than all of the people that I was around growing up, and I was so confused by that. I said, like, in my mind, why would I ever go about amassing a great fortune if I could live happily like these people? That's how I thought about things, and I viewed it that way, and I believed I was going to live there for the rest of my life when I didn't even have a return flight. I only came back after 3 months because I felt like I had learned, I felt like I had sort of had an enlightening, awakening moment where I realized that although they might live this way happily, it's not my life's calling to live like them.
You have other life.
I have to go back.
Yeah, and what can be done there too.
And integrate there and try to find a way to live like they do in a different way, but in a simple way.
So when I stopped is that their way, and give me the example of their way of the enlightened state that you felt that they have.
One of them is their pace of life. It's very slow pace, and they're nonchalant about it. They're not trying very hard. It's almost effortless. It's completely effortless.
So it's kind of like animal, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if I should say that, but that's the way
it is.
You know, Tao Te Ching, it's kind of nature's way.
Yeah, the way of nature, and
everything is taken care of.
They don't overthink anything. There's not much thought.
There's an intuition of what to do, when and how.
Everything's always at the right time. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
Their timing is never wrong.
Right.
Their timing, and they're always available. They're always.
You know, I was thinking about this. Sorry to bother, to get into it. But I was meditating, and for some reason, I thought of there's 3-4 people, and we are in the one room. And I thought about the birds flying from south to north, north to south, the season change, and they fly, and they have a turn of who to go at the center, and everybody help each other. There's a harmony, resonance as a group, right? Mm-hmm. So that's what you can have in the nature, and they have to have the harmony, everything, whether the bird or the people there. Mm-hmm. So that's what we kind of emulate in the Zen temple. We have this protocol, and we follow, and anything that goes out of it get exposed, and you get kind of, this is better.
Yeah.
So that the resonance.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a natural way that can come out. I may be jumping off a little bit, but in a way, it's like harmonized in the way of living.
Yeah.
In nature, is kind of similar, and our role is that we are trying to get out of it, to get into whatever the tool and the AIs and the games that you play, and get involved, and then lost from the root.
Completely lost, yeah.
So those are, you said the examples, they are harmonized with nature. Tell me more about the example of those, and in a day you are there, and what are the point that you kind of connected?
Well, I was always...
And you just found the way to be with them without much trouble.
Yeah,
you can fit into that.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, it's
Just to
not,
be silence and looking at and you feel it and everyone's working and if they're quiet, you're sitting and quiet and drinking and in the shade
yeah.
or dancing, whatever happens.
I did find myself a little bit unnatural though, because I
Yeah.
wasn't used to that way of life,
That's
and I
right.
felt like for one, I didn't want people to do my dishes for me. The women and men, the jobs they have are very distinct and different,
Right.
which is it's a natural way of life, but because of nature, that's the same way.
Yeah.
But for me, I was like,
You wanted to do your
I wanted
own.
to do, I wanted to
Yeah,
wash my
yeah.
own. Like I didn't want anyone to do anything
And
for
they
me.
said, no, you don't need to do it.
And they didn't like that. They didn't
Yeah.
like that I
Yeah,
resisted
because
that.
you're violating their naturals.
Yeah, their
Flow.
code. I didn't think. I felt like the diet was very difficult for me to adjust to.
Yeah.
And that's partly just because their diet is already messed up just because of the government and the way they
Right.
restrict them, and what they have to eat now is not what they were eating for thousands of years.
To eat the raw meat and all that.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. But I didn't do that because I knew I would get. I told them I said I would get
dangerous.
sick.
Right.
Yeah.
So how did you deal with that one?
And also like the unfiltered milk. I told them I'd.
Right. So how could you survive?
Sinyi maziwa.
Yeah.
It means I don't drink milk. I had to say that all the time.
And how could you live then? You brought something there, or
Yeah,
how?
oftentimes I would buy my own fruits and veggies from the market
Right.
because they didn't really eat lots of vegetables, and I felt like I needed that. But they cook for me. They cook for me. One of their common dishes is just beans and corn, makande, or ugali lomboga, which is like cornstarch and vegetables.
Yeah.
But it didn't taste very good. You know, like there's no flavor.
So let's go back to the spiritual. I don't know if that's the word because the spiritual may be just natural, right?
Mm-hmm.
But is there a moment of that air, the feel that you generated in yourself that there's everything is resonating and you are part of that? Is there a moment?
Oh yeah, there was a moment.
Yeah.
There was a moment where they were doing like a tribal dance.
Yeah. You want
Like
together, right?
and we were all in this line, and we were all these warriors, all these men
And
were
the drums and
after we
everything.
had slaughtered the goat and like
Yeah.
recleaning it.
Yeah.
Like we were like jumping and like they were doing like this like like chant thing, and I just felt like I was like high on cloud nine.
I saw some of the video of the dance. Dance is crazy. There's
Yeah,
no
I
rule,
might
and
have
they
a
just
video.
jump around, right?
Yeah, exactly. They get in this circle, and then the guy in the middle jumps as high as he can, and they're all like doing this like chant
And
thing.
do they change this guy finishes and the other guy comes in, and is that the way that's the video that I saw it?
Yeah,
Is it
Yeah.
like that? So like the 50 people or whatever, they just do
yeah,
this whole thing.
yeah.
Okay. So that influenced you,
Definitely.
living in a different dimension kind of thing.
Yeah, it did, and at the same time, it also showed me that like I wasn't gonna find peace. Peace. I think probably the most important lesson I learned from that was that peace doesn't come from without; it comes from within. I didn't find peace there because I didn't. I mean, I did a lot of. I actually went when I went there. One of my main things also was that I knew I wanted to have a lot of time to meditate and reflect on my life experiences, my high school experiences. And I
So you had those
recognized,
experience prior to get there,
yeah,
meditation.
and I recognized that a lot of the time my meditations there, I recognized that there was no peace. Peace does not depend on what's happening in your external environment. So like in my
Accepting
mind,
everything.
in my mind, I thought that I was going to find peace there because these people were in peace. Because they are in peace. They're at peace with
They go
themselves.
with the
They're at
flow,
peace with everything.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the case. I didn't find that peace within myself there.
But they are there in
Yeah,
the peace.
they
right?
are in peace.
Yeah.
But I was not at peace. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so give me example of that moment.
Well, I mean, like, so one of the things is our brains have conditioning, right? Like, like let's just say, like,
No, conceptually I understand, but in the real sense of the experience,
oh, the experience
yeah,
is like,
how you found that to be different while they are at peace and you are.
oh, I would say one of them is just like me being a little antsy, like wanting to do more than what we're doing.
Instead of being in the
Like
flow.
for example, like if this guy is trying, like the three men are about to wrestle down a cow
Right.
because they need to tranquilize it to give it medicine.
Right.
like I wanted to always be involved in things like that, even if it wasn't like right.
Right.
Right. So I was like always wanting to do more than I was capable of doing.
Right.
Which sometimes led me to exhaustion. Like I would go out
Right,
burning
right.
cattle all day
Right,
at 120 degrees.
Yeah.
Because that's what my brain told me to do. But like my body was not physically capable of doing that.
Interesting.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So you are going through a koan, Zen koan of how to align yourself to the way of how things happen real time.
Yeah, exactly.
And for that, you have to empty your mind,
Yeah.
actually, and listen to your heart and body, what is telling you.
Exactly.
And you couldn't do it at certain...
At the start I couldn't. I feel like at the end I was able to do it.
You're getting better and better.
I was getting better and better. But it wasn't one of those things where like by the time I had gotten better at it, I recognized that that wasn't the place that I needed to be in. I needed to work on that.
So let's talk about that one. I may be jumping around, but with this sense of not belonging there, and this another thing, another world, and you want to do something, and you kind of drifted backward. So if I stretch, or if I ask you to stretch your mind, and when you work in this back to the society environment, do you see it more into the Masai? Is that the group?
Mm-hmm.
Masai element of life to be brought in the modern world? And if so, I'm just, assumption, because you are there and coming back, you are trying to find some bridge, and then you are in the modern, the human world.
Mm-hmm.
If so, is it, how do you describe that? Is it like going back to the root of who they are, who we are?
Mm-hmm.
Or would that be a battle to go back there because of the habitual pattern of, you have this habitual pattern, all the people have the habitual pattern. What is the balance that, can be made, in this setting? They are moving kind of in a different way, but moving this society, human society, Western, moving this way, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you are kind of like halfway between and kind of being pulled, and you are not here. Just like me, I may be in Japan, but I may be in the States, and then, not there, but not here, but here. There's some kind of a middle way kind of a...
Yeah, let's make the analogy like they live in a like a circle.
Right.
It's very fluid. And let's just say our society, like you've described with like the video games and all this AI stuff, it's like it's not as fluid. It's not a smooth circle. It's like a hexagon. It's it still goes in a circle because we still are. Yeah. Our nature is to go circular. But like it's more choppy. You know what I mean? Right. Like it's can you imagine like a shape where it's like
because
a
of the mind is a dualistic way.
Yeah, because the mind moves more linearly.
Right.
So I would say when I left, I was super choppy at the start, and I kind of evolved to their circle, but I was still like choppy. When I came back, let's just go back to before I left, because before I left, I was not willing to go with the circle. I didn't want to go with the circle.
That's why you were.
I was blaming. To me, I was actually blaming that hexagonal, like choppy way of life for my own misery, my own suffering.
You felt that intuition.
I felt that way.
Yeah.
I felt like it was the problem.
From the meditation and all that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I felt like it was causing my brain to go in terrible thought spirals and everything. Yeah. So then I went there, I integrated there, but then when I came and integrated back into society, I became more willing to become integrated into this hexagonal, this more choppy, because I was able to see people more in their true nature. Like I could see...
I see, not the choppy part, but what's behind can be perceived.
I could see what's deeper, because enlightenment isn't found from escaping.
Yeah.
You don't find
have to
it.
Be there.
Like I was saying, like I didn't find enlightenment when I was with the Masai. I learned more actually after I came back from the Masai.
Yeah, this problem can be resolved this way.
Yeah, and I learned how to flow with life, even if life doesn't seem...
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even if it doesn't seem the right way or the natural way.
It's kind of like a balancing kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, not too much, but not too much here either. So there's kind of like a middle.
It took me a lot of time though. It took me several months just to adjust after getting back, just to even adjust to living in a normal life again. And
that's
then
how many years or months ago was it?
This was...
When did you come back?
October. So I came back 13 months ago.
Okay.
And then since then, it's been a long process of integration, reintegration, more traveling,
Right.
by the way, to Japan and Europe, and then coming back again, reintegrating, and then moving. In
So the
August.
traveling is also helpful in a way, because you see another protocol here and there, and you can see what's behind and
Yeah,
that
actually,
kind of stuff.
for me, Japan was more, if not like, just as if not more beneficial to me than going to Africa. Even though they don't live like Aborigines, they live a very fluid way of life that I was able to see. Like I could see, I was like, okay, in my heart, I could finally see how a society of people could live more fluidly than what I would have thought.
I'm from Japan, I didn't tell you.
Oh, what?
I was born there and lived half my life in Japan, but I was kind of like your case is this and that, and my case is from here to that. And in Japan, I have to go out to the U.S. and live this crazy life to see what's, it's kind of like that.
Oh, yeah, I see.
But at the same time, it's kind of like opposite to what you're going
That's
through.
so funny. It's opposite.
Yeah.
Because I had to see Japan, and I was like, wow, this place is so much better than
But how could you deal? Because in the big cities tend to be very similar. But still, there's something you could detect. It's different.
No, you're right. In Tokyo, like when I went out to like some of the countryside, that's when I could see it a little bit better. Like, oh my gosh, think Clayton.
How long did you stay in Japan?
A month and a half.
Okay, so you could afford to this kind of adventure here.
Yeah, I saved up some money.
And the guest house here or whatever.
Yeah, I lived in very cheap hostels,
right,
like $15-20 a night.
Right. Yeah.
But when I went out to some of the, oh my gosh, what's the prefecture where Zen Buddhism started? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Kyoto or?
It's northeast of Kyoto.
Northeast. There's Gifu, but Kyoto. Oh, you're talking about just nearby Kyoto?
Like, here, wait. I have to pull it up because I'll show you. This is the prefecture.
But if it's only 20 minutes or so, it's within Kyoto. There's
No. It's like a few hours northeast.
I'll see you guys. I'm gonna go run some errands.
Okay.
Glad you guys connected. Have fun.
See you later.
See you.
Nice to meet you again. Oh my gosh, I need to show you this
Was
because
that Kanazawa, Eiheiji?
Eiheiji.
Oh, you
yes,
went to the
Daihanzen,
yeah.
yeah. So I went and stayed there at the temple
Oh, right, yeah.
for a few days, but yeah, like in that prefecture, I definitely was able to find. I don't know. I just felt like the Japanese society was more grounded in something. Like I feel like the Eastern religions, and specifically like Buddhism and their society, was very strong and was very grounding.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like, although it wasn't a natural life in so many different ways, especially in the cities, I felt I could see it. It was more natural.
Yeah.
People were living a little bit more naturally than they do.
So my case, just filling in, I was out of Japan and spent 40-some years in the U.S. More time than in Japan, I was living in the U.S. and other countries.
Okay.
So that was quite an experience, but I had the reason, without telling you much about it, but the Japanese ownership of self-managing and harmony and the empowerment of people, I can bring into the US. And I wrote books and videos and seminars, and that's one reason I moved. I had the engineering background and business background, but I combined business background with this idea of empowerment and people integrating more instead of being, I tell you what to do and just tell me what to do. So that's the wrong way, but the Japanese way is incorporating, working together, collect the wisdom. So that's what I did. And but at the same time, living in California 40 years or so, there's something telling me, I think this is a little bit too much. And my work was received well, but I wrote a book and more related to the heart. And the Dalai Lama gave a forward for my book too, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Related to the heart? Is your book here?
It's not here,
No.
but anyway, it's called Results from the Heart. So bringing the heart into business. But that's related to that AI work that I was talking before. But anyway, that's the 40 years of the US. But if you go back, and I go back then meeting my high school friends and the small town that I stay, it's like going back home. Yeah, and it's kind of like, because compared to the Western world, lots of wars and who occupies. In Japan, there's the isolation and how do you call it? It's like a space that is left behind because of the closing the nation sanctuary of people. So that's the harmony, and that's how they get there. So anyway, my case was from here to there to Japan, US, but that's not my.
We
point.
did it in different ways.
Yeah, that's right. So it's kind of interesting. You have a story, and you're talking about Japan and how you felt. Yes. And I go to a small town too, and small, guest house and stay there. And when you see the old people, doing the
Working the rice.
or just pulling off the weeds and just be happy in the sun and sitting.
Yeah.
So I stopped my bicycle and talk with them 40 minutes or something. And they are with the nature and that sense. So anyway, back to your story. So you went to those countries, and Japan, you had some interest. So, and then what?
Yeah, so you were talking about like how I integrated back, like.
Yeah.
Boy, yeah, like when I got back from Africa, it was like, it was extremely shocking. Like, I literally, like, I got back and it was like seeing cars and airplanes again and like society and everything. I was very turned off, and I almost like didn't want to come back
Be
at
part
all.
of it. Yeah.
I didn't want to be part of it. But like in my internal guide, intuitively, I knew that like, someday I would find life at peace living here. It just was going to take some time.
Yeah.
It's just going to take some time. So several months I came back and I lived with my parents. It was like a gap year I was taking between college. So I began to look at colleges again, and I began to start planning a future and thinking about
Where were you at the time? In Hawaii or something?
Denver, Colorado is where I'm from. So yeah, I started to kind of, and at that same time I was also, I think probably the most important part of my reintegration was the fact that I was studying Chinese medicine at that time. With the teacher one-on-one, like 3 or 4 days.
That's like 1 year ago or something?
Yeah, and I still am.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I started.
So that is changing into the biology, I know that.
Yeah, and I was beginning to study the Tao Te Ching, the I Ching,
right.
the Hua-Ching, all of the ancient Chinese texts in formal class settings at a school, a Qigong school in Denver, Colorado. With one teacher, and all of those helped me to see way far and deep beyond the superficial aspects and workings of society and the people, and to really dive deeper into basically the break I took in Africa to sort of be like, okay, because essentially all that did was erase the thing in my mind that said enlightenment and what I need in order to live is somewhere else. No, it's actually right here.
Right.
Like, I don't know if you've ever read that book. It's called The Alchemist. You know The Alchemist?
I've known.
Yeah. It's a spiritual, but
yeah.
The only reason I bring that up is because
it's more
when he goes
Western.
when he goes on this big journey.
Yeah.
And it's just it's just an analogy for a spiritual journey. When you go on he went on this big journey searching for this gold or these coins or whatever all over the world and everything. And he came back, after this really long story, weaving in all these things, and he came back and the treasure was buried under his house.
Yeah.
The place where he started.
Prodigal son, the blue bird and everything is coming back to the home, right?
Yeah, so I would say the gold, the treasure that I found was buried under the roof I was raised.
Yeah, it's in here.
I was raised under, coming into peace with my parents, with my relationships with my family, with people around me, and coming to peace with that, and a lot of forgiveness for, yeah.
Tell me a bit about those one teacher, Qigong and I Ching and all that. What is that you learned? I mean, I'm most familiar with the Tao Te Ching.
Yeah, so the Tao Te Ching, the I Ching is like a...
Yeah, it's interesting.
It's a series of 64 symbols that have the different...
I can understand it, the probability of the synchronicity of what happens kind of a study, I think.
It's one of the things that they recommend for people who are just starting on the spiritual path to sort of start to see patterns in their external environments to sort of it's basically aligning your mind with the natural movements of energy in the world.
Okay, we can talk more later, but
I won't go
there's a
super
book
deep.
on that one, but the I Ching I thought was a little bit, throwing the dice.
That is one use of it.
Yeah.
Another use is spiritual alignment of the mind.
Yeah.
We have done that in one of our classes before. We had one day where we came in and we did the rolling of the dice, and we got the the oracle or whatever. And we actually asked about, the question I asked was, and what spiritual truth do I have to explore in each month of the year to come to enlightenment or to come to go deeper into myself. And so I got one of the gua for each of the months of the year. So basically I get to, that gua helps to sort of guide me through each month.
Is that also related to the year of the mouse and the rat and everything, right?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, their intuition turned out to be...
This is the year, this is the year of the snake. I'm pretty sure this is the year of the wood, it's a wood snake actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, the summary of those learning of the one teacher and Qigong and all that was what?
Gosh, I think that
nature's unknown power, how we can access or...
I honestly think that all of the different angles that I took towards understanding life and the universe and everything all just pointed me back inwards. It was like kind of seeing a mirror at every interval, at every stage of my development as an individual, as a human, was like looking at a mirror.
You look at yourself in the mirror?
It was basically all developing the trust and intuition to know that everything that I was looking for was already within myself.
Yeah. Okay. So look at yourself in the mirror.
Yeah.
Do you know Indra's nest? You don't know Indra's nest, or you don't know much into the Kegon or Abasamtaka?
No.
Okay, that's my book and the connection with each other.
Okay.
One of the discussions that mirrors every direction, and you're looking at yourself, and each of those you need to connect to each other. If you move this one, everything moves here and there.
Yeah.
I think Tao of physics. I forgot there's some. Anyway, so there's a similarity in the. I think that was a Buddhist Mahayana Sutra called the pinnacle of Mahayana is that the Kegon idea. So that the mirror discussion is there in the Eastern, in the Indian part of it. So that's what I was thinking.